Hello there. Thanks for tuning in to Your Jamaica Magazine. Remember this?
While Gilbert water come in me room, the sweep out song with me broom.
I'm sure you do. Well, today marks Hurricane Gilbert's 27th anniversary. Despite the destruction and devastation that it brought to our island, we were able to rise above them. Coming up, Hurricane Season 101. Then, details on the various categories of hurricanes. And later, we give you some road safety tips. Stay right there, an informative show continues right after this break.
No light, no one, and to me no have no generator. Me say one cold beer cost $10.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
The hurricane season is still upon us, but we know many people are still not prepared. Well, no time like the present. You're going to want to give us your undivided attention for the next few minutes.
A hurricane is a tropical storm with winds reaching a constant speed of 119 kilometers or 74 miles per hour or more. These winds may extend outwards by 483 kilometers or 400 miles. Hurricanes blow in a large spiral around a relatively calm center known as the eye, which is generally 20 to 30 miles wide. The hurricane season began on June 1 and continues until November 30. This season is forecast to be an above normal season. When a hurricane forms within the vicinity of the Caribbean, the Meteorological Office will issue reports about its strength, speed, and direction. Advisories are given every 6 hours, or more frequently if the situation demands. When the system becomes a threat, a hurricane watch is issued. And when it intensifies, a hurricane warning is issued. Check that you have adequate supplies in the event of a hurricane. Refill medical prescriptions, especially for persons with asthma or hypertension, which may be aggravated during this time. And secure your home. You should also listen to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Secure canned and non-perishable food. Store valuable and personal papers in a waterproof container on the highest level of your home. Fill your car with gas and check your battery, water, and oil. Store drinking water in clean bathtubs, jugs, bottles, and pots. Pack a survival kit and be prepared to take action if the watch changes to a warning. After a hurricane warning is issued, you must bring in outdoor objects. Listen constantly to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports, batten windows and take down awnings, and use masking tape where necessary to tape glass windows and doors. If at home, stay inside away from windows, skylights, and glass doors. Keep flashlights and extra batteries handy. Avoid open flames such as candles and kerosene lamps. Remove all glass and hanging objects such as fluorescent tubes, light bulbs, and lampshades. Wrap them in plastic and store in a safe place. Turn off electricity at the main switch. If you have completed all your precautions, offer assistance to your neighbors, especially older folks and those with young children. If and when officials indicate that evacuation is necessary, leave as soon as possible. Try to avoid flooded roads and watch out for washed out or collapsed bridges. If time permits, elevate furniture to protect them from floodwaters. Take with you emergency supplies such as warm clothing, blankets, and sleeping bags. Lock up your home and leave for the nearest shelter.
It's important to store water during periods of drought. It's even more important to ensure that the water is safe. Boiling and treating your water with bleach are two of the best ways to purify water. If you choose the boiling method, allow the water to boil for 5 minutes, cover and let it cool. Store boiled water in a clean airtight container and use something with a handle to take out the water when needed. If you use bleach to make your water safe for drinking, use 2 drops of bleach to a liter of water, 8 drops for a gallon, and ½ teaspoon of bleach for 5 gallons of water. Shake well and leave for half an hour before use. Water is essential to a healthy life, so ensure yours is clean and safe for consumption.
Do you know the difference between the various hurricane categories? Do you know how many categories there are? If you're not so sure, this next feature will surely get you in the know.
Hurricanes are not only named, they are also rated. As a hurricane develops, its strength and potential threat is categorized. A hurricane may be placed in any of 5 categories. Category 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Categories are based on the hurricane's wind speed and also give an indication of the scope of damage and the height of the storm surges it could bring. Wind speeds of 74 to 95 miles per hour is indicative of a Category 1 hurricane, the least devastating of the bunch. Unanchored mobile homes and poorly planted signposts are really the only structures at risk in such conditions. Category 1 hurricanes create 4 to 5 foot high waves. Surfer's paradise, but we strongly advise against the temptation. A Category 2 hurricane brings with it winds topping 110 miles per hour and 8 foot high waves. Such systems may fell trees, damage roofs, and flood seafront areas. Category 3 hurricanes pack wind speeds of between 100 and 130 miles per hour and produce waves of up to 12 feet high. These hurricanes may damage small buildings and flood inland areas. A Category 4 hurricane erodes beaches and causes extensive roof failure on small residences. In a Category 4 system, you may experience wind speeds of up to 155 miles per hour. Category 5 hurricanes are the most devastating. They can destroy large industrial structures, topple or blow away utility buildings, and cause widespread flood damage. Massive evacuation is usually ordered in such instances. A hurricane may not necessarily remain in one category throughout its lifespan. It can either be upgraded or downgraded, even on more than one occasion. So always be prepared for the worst. Be on alert for a Category 5.
Hello? What is that? Me a come, hold on, me a come.
There is no excuse for speeding. In 2014, 330 persons died in road accidents. 65 persons were motorcyclists. So stop speeding. Motorcyclists and pillion passengers, wear your helmet, ride carefully, and kill your speed before it kills you. Remember, road safety begins with you.
As the school year gets underway, our roads get busier, and all road users, especially our children, will now need to be extra careful on the road. Take a look at just how important proper road usage is.
Seems like it was yesterday when I saw your face. You told me how proud you were, but I walked away.
Many Jamaicans say they would never commit suicide, but some of us are attempting to do just that each day, and we don't even know it.
I would hold you in my arms, I would take the pain away.
We avoid the warning sounds in our vehicles, break the road rules, and ignore the many road safety appeals.
Last year alone, 330 persons died as a result of traffic crashes. Since 2001, 4,791 precious Jamaicans have been needlessly killed.
According to statistics from the Road Safety Unit in the Ministry of Transport Works and Housing, excessive speeding is one of the major causes of road fatalities in Jamaica.
There are 3 basic speed limits in this country in built-up area 50 kilometers. But with a proviso that in school zones there has to be a reduction in that speed. On the highways or the major roads it is 80 kilometers, and on the highway, specifically the east-west highway 2000, not the north-south link, the east-west, it is 110 kilometers per hour.
Every time a driver exceeds the required speed limit, they increase their risk of being involved in a car crash.
In every crash, there are 3 collisions that we are going to experience. First collision is a vehicle collision.
Vehicle collisions cause the exterior of the vehicle to be crushed. Fortunately, most modern cars are designed with crumple zones to absorb some of the energy in a collision so as to reduce the maximum force felt by the occupant. Human collision happens when persons continue to move toward the point of impact until the moving vehicle comes to a stop. An unrestrained occupant will hit the inside of the vehicle, such as the window or windshield. A restrained occupant, however, suffers less impact if they were using safety devices like a seatbelt.
The final collision, which is the one that will determine whether or not you survive. And it is the one that creates the serious injuries. The internal organs collision. Any speed the vehicle is going, that's the speed your eyes, your nose, your ears, your kidney, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your lungs, your rib cage, your intestines. That's the speed everybody traveling, your brain also.
So how can road users reduce such gruesome road fatalities? I'm sure you hear it all the time.
Slow down. Slow down for your own life. Slow down for the lives of your passengers. Slow down for the lives of other road users. Just slow down.
Lowering your speed isn't the only thing to do to be road smart. You should also install and wear your safety devices.
Newton's laws of motion are for real. They are not a respecter of persons. The body at rest will stay at rest. A body in motion will stay in motion unless there is some unbalanced force that comes to redirect you. It's the collision that causes that redirection. When a collision occurs, everybody moves in that direction where the force is coming. So the force is coming from the handle, coming forward, that's where everybody is going to move. The seatbelt now is made to restrain you, keep you in the seat. Every child should be in a child seat. Once they have outgrown that, it depends on the weight and the size of the child, right? So they should be in a child seat. So kids, newborn kids up to about 2 years old, they should be in a child seat. If they are so big, they're getting so big, you might need to take them out and put them in a booster seat to get them a bit higher so that they can fit in the seat belt. Another critical road user that has been problematic for us is the motorcyclists. 65 died last year. 65 males. These crashes could have been prevented. These deaths could have been reduced had they decided to wear their helmet. Helmet must be worn at all times, and also the proper helmet. not the chimney helmet, right? One with the internal padding there to absorb the energy when the helmet hit the asphalt.
While we carry out our individual efforts to be safer on the road, know that the government is also playing its part in making our roadways safer for all.
The ministry is working with the National Road Safety Council and the Road Traffic Unit. We have been doing a lot of initiatives. The major one is the public education program. We have also been working with other stakeholders such as the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we have been requesting as a result of their membership in the National Road Safety Council for them to have increased presence.
For more information, call the Road Safety Unit. Remember, road safety begins with you.
I would hold you in my arms.
They were heading home, playing in the streets just like they always did. When
I'll see you again.
My name is Sheldon Bell. I barely survived. My friend, she didn't. I'm now much more careful on the road. You should be too.
330 Jamaicans died in road crashes in 2014. 99 of the deceased were pedestrians. Road users, obey road rules. Walk, drive, and ride with care. Remember, road safety begins with you.
Parents, have you reminded your children to use the pedestrian crossing and avoid playing in the street? Do your children know the crossing code? No? Well, gather the little ones and take notes.
Life in any form is a gift too precious to measure. The birth of brand new possibilities and exciting potential for whatever. For those at the early stages of this journey, it is expected that the ones who are older, those in positions of guardianship, will take the steps necessary to ensure their safety in all areas, not least of all as they travel from one destination to another.
I think every single adult who is a driver has a tremendous responsibility, not only for the safety of children, but the safety of other drivers, pedestrians. Driving comes with a tremendous responsibility, and it's up to you to remain alert, particularly when it comes to children. We are their guardians.
Children are among our most vulnerable road users. It's why the Ministry of Transport and Works, and particularly the Road Safety Unit, has spent time coming up with measures to ensure that the traffic environment for them is as safe as possible.
The law comes down very heavily on the side of children when we act irresponsibly, and as a result they are injured.
Laws like the Road Traffic Act, the Child Care and Protection Act, and the Protective Devices legislation speak to the issue in some way.
I want drivers to stop and I am at the pedestrian crossing.
Drivers who ignore the prompting of a traffic warden to stop before reaching the place where children are crossing or seeking to cross, or who put the vehicle in motion before the children have completely crossed the road, commit an offense under the Road Traffic Act. The Ministry of Transport and Works is also doing its part to ensure that pedestrian crossings are maintained, sidewalks are provided, and appropriate signs are installed, including at designated school zones.
I think parents really need to ensure that children are trained as to how to cross the road.
fiscal consolidation.
The centerpiece of the program has been the need to reduce our debt.
Business reform.
Make sure that we transform Jamaica to make it a place to do business easily.
New and existing businesses will benefit from streamlined regulations and processes.
And pursuing strategic investments while protecting the most vulnerable.
The path we're on is the right path.
The economy in Jamaica is turning.
The fact that the international community is once again lending to Jamaica says something about their confidence in our policies.
It is now time to actually stay the course, not to lose the benefits of the hard decisions that have been made.
The Jamaican government is committed to continuing the process of reform.
The government of Jamaica is on a mission, going for growth, staying the course and transforming the economy through its economic reform program. Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Government's tax revenues continue to perform strongly, with the intake for the first 4 months of this fiscal year being $2.9 billion more than projected.
The performance of the tax revenues is heartening. It seems to me that the Ministry of Finance and the tax authorities are finally coming to grips with this business of how to project tax revenue, how to manage tax revenues. And my fingers are crossed that this trend will continue for the rest of the year.
The co-chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee says the improved tax revenue helped the government exceed its primary surplus target. The net international reserves NIR is also more than budgeted, as the August figure of $2.56 billion far exceeds even the IMF's $1.44 billion target for September. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller says this week's opening of an upgraded salt factory in Spanish Town is further evidence of local investors' confidence in the government's policies, which she says have created a stable and predictable economic environment. Industrial Chemical Company Limited invested $2 million in the expansion and upgrading of its plant, with loan support from the Development Bank of Jamaica.
This major investment speaks volumes about the economic outlook of and ICC's certainty of the future of Jamaica and the Jamaican economy.
Jamaica hosted the 10th anniversary Petrocaribe Summit last weekend, where Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced that a Council of Economy would be driving the development of a regional economic zone involving member nations over the next 10 years.
So that Council of Economy be at the face and have a colossal task before it of the next few years to do, and of this decade that we have stated, 2015, 2025, to achieve this, to transform then the economic, commercial reality as well as the financial one of all of the Caribbean in the next 10 years to create a powerful economic zone in the Caribbean region.
President Maduro also joined Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller for last weekend's official opening of the Simon Bolivar Cultural Center in downtown Kingston.
It is intended to promote and develop cultural programs for a better understanding of Latin America and the Caribbean culture.
For the first time since its closure in 2009, the UC Rosal Alpart plant in Nain, St. Elizabeth resumed the export of bauxite on Monday. After that export of 35,000 tons of bauxite to the Ukraine, Mining Minister Philip Paulwell said the plant was on track to resume full operations by the end of next year.
December 2016 is intact, and I'm very pleased to see that the plans now are unfolding for that to happen, and very shortly I know the company will start to do its full recruitment.
Transport and Work State Minister Richard Azan signed an $83.9 million contract with S&G Road Surfacing Materials Limited recently to repair the Moko to Arcadia roadway in St. James within another 4 months.
It will be easier, ladies and gentlemen, for those who have to use the community for business and the farming community that you can able to travel much more comfortable on this road. Also, it will be easier for the police to able to come into your community to patrol and for the community members to work together along with the police.
The National Housing Trust, which is responsible for the Longville Park development, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force have agreed on the need for a permanent police presence in the Longville Park community to enable the police to be more responsive to the security concerns of the residents.
As a result, the Information Minister announced that Cabinet had approved a $72.2 million contract to build the new police station. It should be completed within the next 6 months. And finally, the resort town of Ocho Rios was recently outfitted with a cutting-edge closed-circuit television CCTV surveillance system valued at more than $107 million. It provides round-the-clock detailed footage of the town and forms part of government's commitment to the greater use of technology as a deliberate strategy to reduce crime and violence.
The next step that we're looking at is, rather than having a distributed system, is using a wide area network so that we can actually have a national monitoring center where all the CCTV systems, not just the ones being used by police, but the ones being used by the National Works Agency, the ones being used by some of the parish councils, the ones being used by even private operators, because the value of the system really increases almost exponentially based on the number of cameras that you have on it.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
On the board this week, NEPA and UDC invites you to join them at Helsha Bay St. Catherine on Saturday, September 19, starting at 7:30 a.m. for International Coastal Cleanup Day 2015. Come and make a world of difference in the fight for trash-free seas. Call 754-5740 extension 2437 for more information. Also, the WNG production, in association with the Believe Foundation, will be conducting auditions for the Miss Teen St. Catherine Scholarship Pageant on October 3, 2015. It will be held at the St. Catherine Youth Information Center located at 42 Young Street, Spanish Town. If you're from the parish of St. Catherine and you're between the ages of 17 and 19, come out and audition for a chance to win $500,000 in cash and prizes. Take with you 2 passport-size pictures, your birth certificate, and your talent piece. Auditions will run from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and admission is free. For further information, contact Mr. Warvin Gordon at 838-7529 or 871-5379 or email wngproductionja@gmail.com. And that's all for our community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the JIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to sclark@jis.gov.jm.
Sadly, today's magazine has come to an end, but another informative show awaits you tomorrow. Remember to share your feedback and comments by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter @JIS News or visit our website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Theodore Henry. Until next time, let's be safe, be proactive, and be smart.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.